Even though The Blacklist aired for 10 seasons, I am convinced that the show never topped season 1. The first episode was released in 2013, with James Spader's criminal mastermind character Raymond Reddington making a strong impression from his very first appearance. Across The Blacklist's 10 seasons, Reddington collaborated with Elizabeth Keene, Megan Boone, and other members of a top-secret FBI task force as they worked to find and stop particularly dangerous criminals. Prior to Megan Boone's exit at the end of Season 8, the show focused a great deal on the complex relationship between Reddington and Elizabeth as he sought to protect her while also concealing vital secrets. After Boone's exit, the show underwent a 2-year time jump and somewhat of a soft reboot, although Reddington continued to work with FBI Assistant Director Harold Cooper, Harry Lennox, and the remaining members of the task force. The Blacklist ended with Season 10, and while the final season had its merits, it could not live up to Season 1. Why The Blacklist Season 1 is the best of the lot. It had the best balance between short-term and long-term storytelling. Many of The Blacklist's best episodes are from Season 1, and this is because it was the season that best balanced the episodic stories alongside the larger plot. This balance was immediately present in the unforgettable opening of the pilot episode when the wanted Reddington dramatically turned himself over to the authorities, which raised enticing questions about who he was and what he ultimately wanted. Episodes like The Pilot, The Stewmaker, and Anslo Gerrick were strong on their own while also tying into Reddington's larger agenda. After 10 seasons and hundreds of adversaries, Season 1 still has some of the most memorable villains, including The Stewmaker, Anslo Gerrick, and Miloš Kirchhoff, also known as Berlin, Peter Stormare. Seeing how the various blacklisters from throughout the season ended up connecting to Reddington's larger conflict with Berlin came with a satisfying payoff. Elizabeth's husband, Tom Keene, Ryan Eggold, living a double life added yet another unpredictable layer to Season 1 as well, with Elizabeth having to navigate the agendas of Tom and Reddington. The Blacklist's later seasons were still good. Season 4 was particularly strong. While Season 1 was the best of The Blacklist, there was still plenty to enjoy in many of the later seasons. Samar Navarbai, Morjan Mano, was a compelling addition to the task force in Season 2, and her relationship with Eram Mojtabai, Amir Arisun, ended up being one of the most compelling in the show. After the truth came out about Tom, he and Elizabeth got to redefine their relationship, and they developed a more nuanced and genuine bond that was further complicated by Reddington's ongoing influence on their lives. Even though the episodic villains were generally not as strong as they were in Season 1, there were plenty of formidable threats in the ensuing seasons, from the Cabal shadow government to Mr. Kaplan and Catherine Nemec, Susan Blommaert. Seeing Mr. Kaplan go from being Reddington's reliable cleaner and loyal ally to vengefully dismantling his criminal empire in Season 4 was one of the show's best arcs, and solidified Season 4 as the second-best season. When The Blacklist went downhill after Season 5, Spader's charismatic portrayal of Reddington was always enough to keep the show engaging. Did The Blacklist run too long? It could have ended before Season 10. Red, James Spader, walking through a market in the Blacklist series finale. While Spader's performance never ceased to be captivating, the show arguably went on for too long. One of the clearest signs of this was how the story between Reddington and Elizabeth began to grow repetitive. She would grow angry at him and become determined to find out who he really was. He would prevent her from learning the truth. Eventually, they would reconcile, often because of needing to unite against a common enemy, and then, after a period of working together and feeling like they were on the same side, the cycle would repeat itself. The pattern between Reddington and Elizabeth became tiresome and was made worse by Elizabeth dying at the end of Season 8 and the truth of Reddington's identity never being fully revealed. In addition to Elizabeth, many of the show's best main characters and series regulars also gradually exited the show, including Tom, Samar, and Eram. The show was able to continue without them, but it was never quite as strong in their absence. The Blacklist did not need to run for 10 seasons, but there were still plenty of great moments after Season 1.